Welcome to Financial Investing Radio, where you'll learn the secrets for consistent, high-probability returns in the financial markets for additional income to change your life. Grant applies consistent, high-probability trading systems for the financial markets. He's only recently started sharing these tried and true market secrets. As a gift to listeners, Grant is offering his roadmap to high-probability financial control. Go to financialinvestingradio.com and download yours today. Now, here's your host and trading veteran, Grant Larson.
Hey everybody, this is Grant. When I was a kid, my mother had made something called Swiss Chard. It's a dark green leafy vegetable. Maybe you've had it. To me as a kid, it was disgusting. I could barely swallow it without initiating a gag reflex. So one night while we were eating dinner, I was attempting to gag down another mouthful of it. And my dad, who was tired of watching me wrench in pain, he said, "Okay, enough. You don't have to eat any more of it." And with that, I promptly spit out what was in my mouth, to which my dad retorted, "I didn't mean for you to spit out what you're already eating." But man, I was relieved. I could not stand that stuff. So I'm looking at Bitcoin. I mean, who isn't looking at Bitcoin, right? And there are two sides to that coin, right? I guess, pun intended. There's, on the one hand, there's this irresistible pull to jump in on the high, ever higher price and try to get some of that for yourself. And then there's the other side, which might initiate a gag reflex, right? Like Swiss Chard. Certainly no regulation. There's a history of funding illegal activity and so forth. So you look at that and you think, gosh, what am I going to do? I prefer a two-sided market where there's opportunities to participate, in such great trends. And of course, you're looking for that good pause, in which you could jump in with something like Bitcoin. But after working with investments for years, I find that it's unsettling to buy on the high, right? It just makes me nervous. The notion of decentralized cryptocurrencies, I think, is very cool, and it's got some promise of impacting, of course, our banking systems and many other industries. So what do? So I've been looking at some Bitcoin correlated instruments that have some of the upside potential without some of the less favorable characteristics of Bitcoin, at least at the moment, right? And so one of those is GBTC. That's the Bitcoin Investment Trust. It has some volatility that can prove valuable, but it doesn't have any options on it. So you're going to be working with the instrument directly rather than any derivatives on it. Of course, there are other cryptocurrencies like Litecoin and Ethereum and so forth. And if you're going to jump in on these, then make sure you're using funds that you're willing to expose, of course, to a high amount of risk. In the meantime, what I'm doing is I really like the cryptocurrency opportunities, but I also keep my portfolio well diversified, right? So certainly not all the eggs in one basket. So this means I continue to look for good ETF and stock opportunities. For the ETFs, I'm usually tracking SPY, DIA, the Qs, and then the spider ETFs like XLF, XLB, XLP, and others. My algorithms identify high probability opportunities on Dow Jones stocks as well as ETFs. And I track these in my signal reports. And you can see an example of these if you go to financialinvestingradio.com. I have a link there for episode 29 to my video describing the stock signal reports that I produce with my algorithms. Anyway, take a look at that. Luckily, my parents found some vegetables, that were still good for me, but didn't have some of the downside issues, right? Like the gagging that I was struggling with. So in our investing, of course, we need to do the same thing, right? Pick those instruments that will help us protect our investment capital while growing at a reasonable rate. And that's a very sound thing for us to do. Okay, until next time, trade with your brain.
Thank you for joining Grant on Financial Investing Radio. Remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Don't forget to download your free roadmap to high probability financial control before you make an investment decision. Visit financialinvestingradio.com now.